Hey loves, welcome back to the Coco Swatches YouTube channel. Ofune here, and today we're going to talk all about Maybelline's Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation. Now we surveyed you guys, we asked you guys what your favorite drugstore foundation was, and this foundation won with flying colors. So that's the first reason why I wanted to make today's video. The second reason was that Maybelline just announced, or not just, but like a month ago, they just announced that they added a bunch of new shades, a bunch of darker shades to this line. So that's even more exciting news and more reason why I want to do this video. And the third reason, which isn't as exciting but very necessary, upon the news of the Maybelline adding the new shades, I've been seeing a few reviews about this foundation oxidizing gray, at least the new shades. And so that kind of troubled me because I was like, it'd be a shame if, we got this amazing news that Maybelline added all these shades, but they're gray. So I wanted to test it out for myself and see what the wear is like and how it oxidizes and all that good stuff. So stay tuned if you're interested in learning all about Maybelline's new shades of the Matte and Poreless. And don't forget that we have already swatched the 3 darkest shades of this foundation. They are in the Coco Swatches app, so go ahead and download that over here. iPhone and Android available. And yeah, so stay tuned, keep on watching if you want to find out more about it.
So I've already prepped and primed my face with Urban Decay's Optical Illusion Primer. I'm going to go in with Deep Golden, and I'm just using my finger to apply the foundation first, and then going in with my e.l.f. complexion blending brush to blend everything in. So that's what it looks like blended in, and that's the side with no foundation, so you guys can kind of compare and see the difference. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of the application by applying the foundation to the other half of my face and blending that in. And so you guys can see this is what the foundation looks like by itself. I'm going to go finish up and I'll be right back.
So it's now 5:17. We're gonna leave this on for a few hours and come back and see what it looks like, but let's talk about first impressions. So as I'm looking at it right now in my mirror, it looks like it's still my complexion, but it may have oxidized a little bit. I feel like it still matches my, I'm looking at the monitor behind you guys, but I feel like it still matches my complexion. What do you guys think? So this is, I just put it on about 10 minutes ago, as you guys just saw. Went and finished the rest of my face, did a little light beat today, have some Glossier, their Heloscope sticks, a little bit of blush, some cream contour, and that's really it. And I did have concealer under my eyes. So we're gonna see how this foundation holds up over the next 4 to 5 hours, and I will be back to give you guys my final thoughts. Hey, so I'm back. It is 11:36 p.m. And so it's been what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's been about 6 hours since I first applied this foundation. As you can see, I'm a little bit dewy. I have oily combination skin. If I hadn't mentioned before, I use Urban Decay's, I think it's Complexion Perfection or something like that, primer. And so this was the final result after 6 hours. Keep in mind, this is a drugstore foundation, so it's not going to be like a 24-hour mattifying foundation, but I don't know if the glow is necessarily a bad thing. I think, some people's face just produces more oil than others, so I think I have kind of a natural glow going on. I haven't blotted or touched my face at all in the last 6 hours, and so I'm just going to quickly use a tissue to blot to see what it looks like. So like if I carried around blotting blotting paper, for the most part this foundation, it held up, and I'm looking in my monitor to see if there's any signs of grayness, and I'm comparing it to my chest, and it looks like it still looks like my complexion. I don't really notice it looking ashy. It might not be in 100% match to my skin tone, but I feel like it's pretty close. You guys tell me what you see. What I'm looking at the monitor right now, it's looking like it's pretty darn close. And so I feel like I have I have a warm undertone. This foundation that I tried is called Deep Golden, and I mean, that's my undertone, golden. So I'm feeling like this is just a good pair. This is just a good match for me. I'm not experiencing ashiness. Yeah, I said that right. It's late, sorry. I'm like, what am I even saying right now? I don't even know. Anyway, so yeah, so for me, this foundation does not appear ashy or gray. So that's a good thing. Plus, obviously it's not gonna last for me, combination skin, it's not gonna last me all day. If I'm going out to an event and I carry blotting paper, it'll probably last me a good amount of hours. And what else? So let me quickly just talk about how we review foundations on the Cocoa Swatches app, and I'm pulling it up right now on my phone. So one of the first things that we grade on for foundations specifically is shade range, and obviously, as I've said earlier, this has an amazing shade range, especially for a drugstore foundation. This is already going to get a good score from us, probably a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. I feel like besides L'Oreal's True Match, this is probably one of the most extensive shade ranges for drugstore foundations out there. And so we also grade on the other things that we normally grade on. And if you're not familiar with how we grade, I'm gonna quickly just go through that. So see, here's an example. Here we go. Hopefully you guys can see that. This is an example of a rating system of the Black Radiance HD foundation, but I'm just showing you this to show what it looks like in the app, the rating system. And so I can just place it over here for you so you can actually see the graphic. So let's quickly go through. One, longevity. How long does this last? So we already kind of established it's not going to last you all day, but if you have combination skin like me, it's going to last you a pretty long time, and it's still going to look pretty decent. You might get a little oily. The oil is going to shine through. It is a drugstore foundation, but for what it's worth and for the shade match, it's probably worth the money. Availability. So this, I believe the new shades are only available in Walmart right now, and I'm going to double check that before I post this video, and if that is wrong, I will definitely mention that in the information box below. Perhaps, this might change, or maybe, they're gonna roll it out in other stores later on. And I mean, Walmarts are accessible in a lot of places, but I know for me, like in New York City, when I'm in New York City, there's no Walmart. So, Walmart's pretty available, I would say, but it's not available everywhere. So, accessibility, it's pretty good, but it's not amazing. It's not the absolute best, but it's pretty good. It's like an 8. It's like an 8 or 9. Authenticity. Does this foundation do what it says it's gonna do? Is essentially what we mean by authenticity. And so, I don't have it right in front of me. Well, let's just pull it up. So if we look at the description for Maybelline Matte and Poreless, let's see what it says. Want the perfect foundation fit? It's all about matching skin tone and texture. Mattifying liquid formula, ideal for normal to oily skin. So I think that it's true. This can work with lots of different skin types, from normal to oily. If you have a dry skin type, perhaps it's mattifying, it might not work for you. I have a combination, so like I've already mentioned many times, it's not going to keep me matte the entire day, but it did start off pretty matte, and I have a nice glowy finish by the end of the day. And it is a perfect foundation fit. The shade, like I said, and I'm hoping what I see in the monitor is what you guys are seeing, but it's a pretty good shade match to me, especially for a drugstore foundation. There are very few, I can count on 1, 2, like off the top of my head, drugstore foundations that actually are a perfect match for me, and this happens to be one of them. And so authenticity, when we grade on authenticity, it's does this product say, or what does this product do what it says it's gonna do? And in this case, it pretty much does. So that's another, 9.5. It's gonna rate pretty good in that area. Let's see, packaging. you know, it's standard packaging. Obviously we all want a pump, but it's drugstore, so I don't think any of us expects this to come with a pump. It would be nice, but you know, it's standard, so it's like, you know, 8, 9. It's pretty, you know, nice glass. I will say it is glass, so you can see the color. It's drugstore. It's important for you to be able to see the color before you purchase if you are trying to guesstimate, you know, which shade you want to buy. So that is a plus, I will say. So yeah, packaging, you know, pretty standard. Good that it's glass and you can actually see the shade in the bottle. And then last, melanin friendly, and so that also kind of correlates with shade range. Just has a large shade range, and so and they just added a bunch of new shades that are pretty melanin friendly, so I will give it a 10 in that department because it goes pretty deep. There are shades darker than me, which means it goes pretty deep. Not to say I'm super dark, but just usually foundation ranges stop at my complexion. And so whenever a foundation range goes darker than me, then I know that, like, okay, they're actually trying to include deeper shades, because I know I'm obviously not the darkest person out there, like, by any means. So definitely melanin friendly for sure. And yeah, I think that is really it for the rating. What do you guys think? Have you guys used this foundation? Have you used the new shade, the new formula? Have you found a shade that works better than the shade you used to use? If you use this foundation, one more thing I wanted to say is that another reason why I wanted to do this video that I didn't mention in the intro is because I was on a site, and I mentioned this site on I'm looking right now on my phone. I mentioned this site on one of our blog posts about how to find foundation, or how to help you find foundations online, and the site is called Pigment File. Here it is. I'm looking at it on my phone on our blog, Skin Deep. Make sure you guys are keeping up with it. You can subscribe, but you also can access it through the app. So Pigment File is, I think, the person that runs it is a chemist, and she was saying, she had written an article, and I'll put the link to the article below, about how even in, like, let's take the Maybelline Matte and Poreless foundation for example. Even as one foundation line, my foundation shade might have a different formula than someone else's foundation shade, even though they're all Maybelline Matte and Poreless, which is really interesting to me, because I feel like, or I think people assume, at least I assume, that if it's under the same line, it's all the same formula, but that's not true. And so it could very well be that these new shades have a different formula than the older shades, but you know, they attempt to do the same thing. And so that's why I wanted to make sure, or at least see that, you know, are the new shades formulated differently? Do they perform worse or better? Are they turning gray? So yeah, I mean, like I said, for me personally, it doesn't look like it's turning gray. It looks like it's a good match. I think I used to use 360 Mocha. This is 368, and I don't feel like the performance is that much different either. I don't wear this foundation that often, but I don't recall it being like super duper more mattifying than this shade. So I feel like it performs the same as the other shades, or at least the older shades. And so yeah, those are my final thoughts. I'm really curious to see what you guys think, if anybody else is experiencing any kind of oxidation in a bad way or grayness. And I hope this video helps anyone feel comfortable trying out this foundation, because I feel like it's really an amazing thing. One thing I will say about Maybelline is that I will give them a hand clap, because they actually carry a lot of SKUs in store, regardless of whether it's Walmart or not. Like, you know, if you go into a store, sometimes you might see a foundation that has a large shade range, but they actually don't carry those shades, they don't carry all the shades in the store. And Maybelline tends to normally do so. Like I'm in my local Target, and there's barely any brown shades, but Maybelline has like all the shades of their Fit Me Matte and Poreless. And so I definitely want to give Maybelline props on that, and I want to encourage anyone to try out this foundation, because I think it's a great thing to be able to go into your local drugstore and get a foundation shade. Even though it shouldn't be revolutionary or something that's amazing, it kind of is in today's climate. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this foundation and this video and this review. We are new to YouTube, we are doing demos and we're doing reviews, and we want to make sure we're answering all your questions to make sure that you guys can purchase things and feel confident about those purchases. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe and make sure that you are notified the next time we upload a video on our channel. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.